Whose responsibility is it to protect your cookie?
It's my responsibility to protect my cookie jar.
Then why do so many women not protect it?
They don't understand that they have a very important cookie. It's very important. They don't understand the value that they have.
Could it be because they're busy trying to be friends with all these guys that in the interim they lose the ability to protect the cookie jar because they're trying to be friends?
I don't think so. I believe a female can be a friend with a male without being intimate with them. You have to have working relationships. You have to have a brother, sister, kind of like. I have different types of relationships with different types of people.
But they're
I
not
have the
all
work
friends,
relationship. It all depends on what do you classify as a friend.
All right, so
let's go back there.
all right, so the folks I work with, I associate with. They're not my
Correct.
friends.
But you go out to have lunch with them after
I
work.
associate with them.
Okay.
They're not my friends. We hang out. You know, we sit on the couch, have these conversations.
Okay.
You know, but we're not. You know, those are good. So I'm really looking at my friends. You know, as a guy, I don't have women friends. Now you may think I'm your friend because I allow you to think I'm your friend.
Okay.
But I don't have women friends. I have.
The point that I'm sexually attracted to us. I guess that's where I draw the line between just a friend and someone that I could be in a relationship with.
But you understand now that men will actually allow you to believe that they're your friends, and they want to be your iceberg. You know, in case of emergency, break glass guy. So that when you get to that place of desperation, I'm your friend.
My cookies are sealed. It's no desperation. I have to be in a committed.
According to you.
That was my ultimate goal, but I'm divorced. So I always wanted to be with one guy for the rest of my life, but it didn't happen that way for me.
So the cookie jar is closed down.
Until I meet someone that's worth yes.
So that you marry.
That is my goal, but evidently I allow society to kind of like sway that. So I'm right now working on a committed relationship.
Okay. Somebody not straight.
I believe so.
So is cheating physical only?
It could be mental. Sometimes mental cheating is worse than physical as far as a man is considered. A lady, we feel that physical is like the worst, but when a man cheats mentally, it's kind of like really serious. Because I've known men that say they can have sex and keep on going, but once they cross the boundaries and that mental, they establish that friendship, the relationship where they're talking to them and texting. That's serious. That's kind of like.
So in other words, when they develop this friendship, they've crossed the boundary because now they're in an emotional, mental state. So really, she's not his friend. She's more of his conquest. I'm just asking.
Where are we going with this? Because there's different. To me, there's different levels of friendship. Like we just mentioned about associates and friends,
right.
And then we went to like men trying to conquer someone.
Right.
But for me, just because I'm friendly with someone, I socialize with them doesn't necessarily mean I'm attracted to them or I would like to pursue them or I like for the man to pursue me for a relationship clearly, verbally, and I keep my distance so that they know what their boundaries are.
So we got boundaries. So we're not really friends. We're just kind of hang out together, not really friends. Because friends, we don't really have those boundaries. I can come hang out at your house, keep my shoes off, lay up on your couch, in hopes that you might have that weak moment.
The weak moment.
The weak moment.
What is the weak moment?
Oh, that's the iceberg moment. That's when your cookie jar is no longer safe.
Oh, my cookie jar is safe.
I hear you.
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much. Physical part of your relationship isn't working.
My whole thing is, I know the 5 love languages. You know, it's words of affirmation, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Me personally, I like quality time and physical touch. Because with the physical touch, you can get confused, and I say that because as you're growing up, you have that motherly love, you know, that warmth, that your love tank all filled up, to know that you care. But at the same time, when there's a situation that comes in there, a domestic relation, as far as domestic violence, it kind of deteriorates that.
So, come on, I'm a guy.
Okay.
How can physical touch not be sexual?
Because you have all the senses through your body. It don't have to be sexual.
If I touch you on your forehead, that's foreplay. If I hold your hand, that's foreplay. It's all. If I kick you in your shin, that's foreplay. It's all all about getting to the.
Mine's like a very mental stimulation. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I hear you.
Did I confuse you?
No, you didn't confuse me. I'm just saying I'm a guy. That's a
Okay.
You know, that's Charlie Brown. Wah wah
See?
wah 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 wah. Let's talk about real. So you're trying to tell me that we can be intimate and not be sexual.
Yes.
I think that's all relationships are hell.
All relationships are hell. I mean, hey, you got some that are rosy, but mine wasn't.
Like every relationship goes up and down, and everybody's gonna struggle sooner or later.
Right.
So, do you think that you are a better person, or better equipped for relationships now, having been through that hell together, than if you guys had decided to do something different?
I can say yes. I can say yes. I mean, but it still doesn't make me change my perspective on how to start a relationship. I would not choose the hell that I went through. Knowing what I know now, I would take my time, not be so fast, not act like a know-it-all, knowing I don't. I mean, when we're young, we think we got everything we need already, but we don't.
So you try to tell young folks they don't know nothing.
They don't. They don't. They gotta live something.
So now I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been married for 20 plus years. You probably wouldn't have done it the same way.
Right.
I'm not sure you would have married the same guy.
Oh, I would.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So you would have married.
Soulmate.
Okay, so,
So, yes.
all right, so you would have married the same guy, just would have done it different.
Yes.
What advice you give young folks like me?
Well, youngin,
Okay.
I would say, take your time because if
Hold
you
on, I'm
get
50 years
into,
old. I ain't got time.
Oh, we got time.
Oh no, I got about 15 good years. I ain't
This
got
is
time.
something that I tell people, even people middle age and older. What would you choose if you had to go through hell just to be in a relationship, or wait 20 or 30 years to find the love of your life?
Isn't it the hell you go through that creates the circumstances for the love of your life? If you don't struggle together, can you really bond?
Listen, if you get someone that understands you, and it doesn't take hell to get to understand a person.
Oh, I'm not really
You see,
confused.
it
Not really,
doesn't.
no, I'm really confused. If you didn't know yourself, how can someone else know you?
Listen, you're growing together, and it doesn't take trauma, drama, and all those things to get to know yourself. That is the only thing that makes up lessons learned. You can learn from other people's mistakes.
Oh, so I let other
So
folks
I'm
have
saying-
drama and trauma and
I'm saying, watch those who've gone before you. If I've gone before you and I share a bit of wisdom, take the wisdom and grow from that.
Yeah, but
Take the wisdom and
your
enjoy
wisdom
your
doesn't
life a
apply.
little bit better
Your
than
wisdom
mine.
doesn't apply to me because you made bad choices. I made good choices, so So
See what I mean? Young wills think they know. See, you're young.
So after all this time of marriage and all the hell you've been through, you would do it differently, but you would do it with the same person, but fully understanding that every relationship goes through their Armageddon periods.
They will.
Okay? So is it better to struggle early or better to struggle late in a relationship?
That's a good question. I would say it is better to struggle early because if you can make it through it earlier, then you're going to be much stronger later. But if you've gone through so much joy and later you get hit with something that you weren't expecting, guess what? It might not make it out.
So if you struggle, go through hell early, chances are you may be able to survive the real hell when it shows up later.
Chances are.
All right. Hey, great. Thank you for having this transformational conversation with me.
You're welcome, young.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
All righty. Do we have it down there? Okay, well,
Thank you,
good.
sir.
Thanks to you.
Every man needs an older woman to teach him a few things. I ain't too old to learn. I don't want to tell any of your secrets over here, partner.
Nah, we good, man.
Okay.
We good, trust me.
Let's make sure I got you in the focus here.
If you see me looking at you,
Did you get my side of most of my hair on?
don't
Mm-hmm.
Get nervous? Is she
It's
still
kind
in
of
that process?
hanging out there a little bit. I'm
Okay.
do some editing.
Ms. Marie?
I am going for the co-host position as well as correspondent.
Alrighty, so let's get right into this one, Ross. So, all right, one of the rules of the relationship is you must know the game. All right, so in the game, you either in it for the long haul, you're just biding time, or you're just in it for a good time. How can you tell which one you're actually in?
Well, first of all, you have to decide and choose what role you want to be. Okay, what happens is people go into a relationship, first of all, they don't talk, they don't communicate, they don't tell what role they want to be. Perfect example, that's why a lot of women are out there now in situationships versus relationships, because they didn't say that they were on the role, on the path of becoming a wife. Okay, so they set themselves up, or like that side chick that's out there now catching main chick feelings.
Hold on. So you're supposed to tell the guy that I'm on a marriage path in the beginning, because you know he's gonna cut you off. Hey, guy, we ain't trying to hear. I'm out for the conquest. I'm not out for the eternal security of marriage. So if you tell a guy that, you're gonna be by yourself a lot.
Not necessarily, no. I totally disagree with that. And the reason being is because communication is the key to any relationship. So you have to be clear of what it is, what your expectation is. Guys go in this, and we talked about this before, guys go into relationship as a game. They've already decided who's gonna be their bench warmer, their star player, and who's gonna come up to bat time and time again. Okay? So you have to let them know from out the gate what is your role, what it is that you want out of this relationship. Okay, what is you gonna tolerate and what you're not gonna tolerate. Basically looking over all of your rules, who hands need to go in the cookie jar and who hands don't.
So you're under the assumption that you are really going to know what role you play, as opposed to what role I assign you.
I'm confident in knowing what role I'm going to play.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
so even though that you're kind of what role you're going to play, is it possible the role you want to play isn't available and you don't even know it because I'm letting you believe you're playing that role?
It's very well possible, and that's why communication is the key. Most people, when they get in a relationship, they fall into lust before they fall into love.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes.
That's because dating is a goal-oriented activity.
Exactly.
You know, women date to get married, guys date not to get married. And so as we're in our goal-oriented activity, we're okay with situationships. You know, I don't need a bunch of relationship stuff. I want situationship because I happen to like the cookie jar situation.
Right. But the thing that we got to be clear, and I want the women to be clear, is you don't have to set yourself up for a situation. You got to consider yourself like the Hope Diamond. Everybody can't purchase a Hope Diamond. Okay, you can't devalue yourself. You can't carry yourself around like you on the wholesale rack and the clearance rack at Walmart.
Yes.
Okay, we protect our red bottom shoes, our Coach bags and everything, but then we give everybody an all access pass to us. That makes
Preach, girl.
absolutely no sense.
But if I'm good at this,
Oh, you got some of y'all that's good at it.
so I can get all access.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
and you're thinking we're on this relationship path.
True.
And for the next 10, 15 years, we're on this relationship path because I let you believe that. But at the end of the day, you find out you weren't the main chick. You were number 2, 3, or 4.
I agree. But the key word that you said is that you were in this 10 or 15 years. It does not take 10 or 15 years to be in any relationship before you realize that this is the person that wants to be with you. I think what we do is, and I write about this in my book, we turn our BS detectors off. We want to BS ourselves into believing that this is going to be something that it's not going to be.
And I'm going to help you do that because since you don't know who you are, I'm going to help define you just for me.
You guys are slick with that too.
Yeah, and good at it.
Good at it.
And good at
Good
it.
at it.
So, wow. So, can we really depend upon someone else to set the conditions for our relational success?
No. You have to set those standards for yourself. You have to not be afraid to be by yourself. You have to not be afraid to love yourself first. I think a lot of people are in relationships and stick in situationships because they're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of what people perceive them as being. Being single is good. People should not jump from one relationship to the other relationship. A relationship is like a death, okay, when it comes to an end. Okay, and in death, no one goes to a funeral and then goes to the club right after. You got to go through your mourning process. You got to go through your own healing. And I think that if we do that more often, we won't carry all of this extra baggage that we carry.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so so much for
Thank
for this
you so much.
transformational
I
conversation.
To try out for the co-host and the corresponding reporter, and I'm going to talk about us.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about know our us. Now, I don't mean to offend you at all, but you're a little older and wiser than most of the folks we've talked to. You've been married for a while.
41 years.
Okay, wow. So when you talk about knowing our us, has our us changed in 41 years?
Of course,
So how do I know our us if our us is changing?
we have to first know us, the wife and the husband. You have to know you, and you have to know how you're evolving. Life is an evolution. You don't stay the same. We all grow from time to time. It's like going to school. You don't stay in the first grade and not go to college. You have to evolve, and that happens in relationships. Things happen during the marriage, during the relationship that changes all of us. We grow through our pains, we grow through our joys, we go through seeing our children grow up, we grow through seeing the losses of our family members, our friends. So everything evolves, even from our jobs. You know, sometimes you start off with one job and it's not that stressful, so you can kind of ride through, and then you evolve and get another job. It's a little bit more stressful, so your spouse has to be there to be your backup.
So as you're discovering about you, in order to know our us, we got to know ourselves, we got to know our boo,
Yeah.
and then we got to know what we are together. Have you found that over time, the things that you said you would never ever put up with or never ever do, you ended up doing them for the sake of the us?
Yes, that's called compromise. And in a relationship, you have to have compromise. My husband is a workaholic. I don't like it sometimes, but the first thing, and the one thing I tell young girls, before you start talking about all this love and all this other stuff, you have to talk about one thing, and that's respect. And I understand who he is and what he is, and part of that is he's a workaholic. He likes his job. He likes to be the caregiver. He's like the old-fashioned man who's been taught to take care of his family. So part of that, you have to respect that. If you don't respect that, then you shouldn't be in the relationship with that kind of man. You can't change people. There used to be a song out there talking about changing people. You have to accept people for who they are and what they are. You can't change people.
So what is something about his personality or something about his that you just really don't like?
He's too kind.
Yeah?
He's really too kind.
It just drives you nuts. That he's
It
so
drives
nice.
me nuts sometimes because sometimes I see other people taking advantage of him because people take your kindness for weaknesses. And that drives me crazy. And sometimes I have to pull him to the side and tell him, you know, enough is enough. I have to explain it to him, break it down. Sometimes we agree I'm right, sometimes we don't agree that I'm right.
So, if you respect him, is it safe to say that a man needs the respect of his woman and she needs the love of her man?
The man needs the respect of his woman and the woman needs the respect of her man.
I know that's
So what about love?
Love comes in. You can love anybody, and as you grow, that love evolves, but you can't have love if you don't have respect. I don't care how you cut it.
So is love a choice?
No, it isn't a choice. It's something that grows within you. It's really an evolution of respect, because if you don't love yourself, you don't love your spouse, then you can't love them.
So there's this thing that
There's a lot of things.
yeah, as we watch TV now. There are a lot of reality shows about relationships. Hashtag Black Love, love at first sight, love, married by my parents, or whatever the case is. Why are there all these relationship shows going on right now? Folks are looking for love, and they're not doing it the way that maybe you did it that was more traditional.
Well, you named all these shows. Number one, I don't look at any of them because one thing you have to understand about all of them, their cameras running just like we're talking. And when the cameras stop, life starts. And it's one thing I tell people all the time. It's reality TV, but it isn't reality TV because part of it is scripted to make people think that this is how people live, and they don't all live that way. But people are searching for something, but you have to understand, most people aren't searching for the truth.
Good point. Well, thank you so much for having this transformational
You're welcome.
conversation.
See, you can help the young people down. You're trying to make me old.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda.
I interact with other people. If they look at me and see, hey, I want to focus on my height, then really I don't need to pay attention to them because that's not my goal in life. I actually date because I want to get married, not just for sex.
You know, I'm confused because that does not sound like some man talk. That sounds like somebody's been brainwashed by a bunch of women
Let me help
to
you
talk
out.
about.
Let me help you out. You said something, man. Well, I'm a gentleman. That's what's up.
So look, here's what I'm confused about. Because it briefs well. It briefs well. Women love to hear that. But if we're honest about it, if we're really honest about it, aren't we simply trying to figure out what the right buttons to push to get them into a place where they will satisfy my wants and my needs?
Well, everybody has a certain level of wants and needs. Now, yes, if it would stimulate my mind and my body, so yes, I wouldn't mind having relations with them. But all that doesn't come into play if you don't take care of the other business first, because all that's going to go here or there. That only lasts for about 5 minutes, a few days, maybe a month or two. But we're talking about length of time. I'm looking for a long-term satisfaction.
So every girl you're interested in, every woman you're interested in, you're looking at marriage. You're on this marriage track.
Why bother dating if you're not going to go about it? See, maybe for some, and that's the goal, go right on ahead. But you got to also handle the game the right way. But for me, and for a lot of other men out there who are gentlemen, I'm looking to marry, and I'm going to go about it the correct way.
I'm trying not to be offended here, because I am a gentleman.
Okay? Okay.
But it doesn't necessarily mean I want to get married.
Okay.
Okay?
You may want to have fun and sow your wild oats. That's fine too.
No, it ain't about so. I want relationships. I want to be in relationship, having relations in relationship. I may not want to get married.
Okay.
Okay? But ultimately, if we're really talking about keeping it hot, we're really talking about what she brings to the table to keep it hot.
Well, I'm going to tell you also what helps bring to the table. A lot of women talk about how they can swing around the chandelier and things like that. But for a man, what they need to do is pay attention to all the other different things. Come home at the end of the day, rub their feet. Listen to what they need to do. If she likes a certain beverage every day, then go ahead and get it. All these things sometimes does take work.
Oh, that sounds like doormat conversation.
No.
That sounds like she is running. Where's your manhood? That sounds like that she has just totally taken your manhood and you are laying prostrate before her.
No, what comes to the manhood is that she's going to respect that and offer the same qualities back to me. Now, you don't always offer everything off the top because that's where you have those discussions and understand what type of dinner do you offer to that lady. Do you offer her an appetizer? Go right ahead. But for me, I'm offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you didn't get past that appetizer, I'm not having the rest of the meal with you.
You know what? That briefs well. I am. And my granddad said I'm struggling. Okay, I'm struggling because that can't possibly be how real men think. That's what we're told to say so they will pay attention to us.
But you know what? It does happen because those were type of things that was rooted for many years. We strayed away from it. We got away from those people who put our hands on our shoulders and directed us. We got into this mentality of don't tell us what to do type of society. So now divorces are higher. Relationships are in and out. So many children.
That's because the women are out of control.
Or is it only women or men? Or if not both?
All right. Hey, I appreciate the conversation, Mr.
Not a
Earl.
problem. I appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you very much.
Don't make me come up there.
Good job.
1, action.
Hi, I'm Jody Slaughter, and I am auditioning respondent reporter for The Rules.
All right, and what rule are we gonna talk about?
We're going to talk about knowing you and your baggage.
All right, so, rumor has it you've never been married.
That is not a rumor, that would be true.
Is that because you carry a lot of baggage and you don't know who you are yet?
That is not why I'm not married, Coach Ellis. I'm not married because at this point in my life I've chosen not to be married.
So tell me about this discovery of you.
Well, I was in a relationship for 8 years with a man who I thought I was going to marry, and he turned out not to be who I thought he was. And in discovering that he wasn't who I thought he was, I discovered that the real Jody wasn't living her life.
So just because a brother made a mistake, just because he had some issues, now all of a sudden he's not worthy?
I didn't say he wasn't worthy. In discovering, I wouldn't say that he had issues and that he made mistakes. He was a habitual cheater, and I didn't know that
Those are
until
issues
some
and
things
mistakes,
were
right?
uncovered. Well, habitual cheater is different from being a mistake. A mistake is one. Habitual is not a mistake, but that's another conversation for another show. I realized that I wasn't who I was because after I found out initially that he was cheating and had been cheating, I stayed in the relationship.
Were there signs that you, hindsight's always 20/20, were there signs in your rearview mirror that you looked at and said, I should probably have known this?
Oh, absolutely. There are always signs. It's just whether or not we choose to stop and identify what are not our non-negotiables. There are always going to be signs. Every relationship that you have, there are always going to be signs, but you have to decide for yourself, what are your non-negotiables? What are you willing to put up with? What are you willing to tolerate? And what are you not willing to tolerate? And I will not tolerate a man who cheats.
So if a man slips up, is he a cheater?
What do you mean by slip up?
If he happens to accidentally have relations with somebody else, is he a cheater?
Well, in the context of Webster's dictionary, absolutely. But that doesn't make him an habitual cheater unless he slips up more than one time.
With the same person or with different people?
It doesn't matter.
So as long as it's not you, he's cheating.
Absolutely.
So
Is that not how you view it in your relationships?
Well, since I would never have a man cheat on me. So
Okay, well,
No,
with
so-
a woman.
so the as I've grown older, I've redefined somebody because it's possible she could cheat and not be a cheater, and it depends on really where my heart is in the matter. Because if I loved it in her, I might erase a whole lot of stuff that she's doing just because love covers it. So is it possible that in the relationship where he was habitually cheating, that something in the relationship wasn't meeting a need or a want that he wanted?
That could have absolutely been the case, but in that situation, be a man and tell me about it.
No.
Have that conversation.
All right, so how do
Communicate with me.
how do I tell you that, you know what, I like relations with you, but it ain't all that?
Okay.
How do I have that conversation?
So what you say is, baby, I love you and I think you're great, but I think maybe in the sex department with me, you're not giving me exactly what I need. And so then my question to you would be, well, what is it that you need that I'm not giving you? Because if I really love you and I really want to be in a relationship with you, I'm going to do my part.
So, first of all, a man's not going to have this conversation
Well, then shame on him.
because he presumes that if he ever tells you you're not satisfying him, you're going to cut off all the supply, not just the part that he ain't satisfied. You're going to cut everything off. And that's not a risk most men are willing to take.
But here's my thing. If we are committed to this relationship and we want it to go somewhere, you're going to be honest with me. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to tell you, you're not satisfying me in bed. These are the things that I like. I love you. I want to make it work with you. You're the man that I've chosen, that I've decided I want to be with for the rest of my life. These are the things that I need. Can we work together to make these things happen?
But when I pulled your hair and you slapped my hand, you should have known I like pulling the hair. I don't have to explain that to you.
You're right. But let me say this to you. If there's something that you're doing to me sexually that is uncomfortable for me as a woman, I have a right to tell you that it is uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, you have a right to say it's uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
But if you loved me,
I could love you, but still have a difference in opinion. But let's talk about it. Let's put it out on the table. Let's have a genuine, open, honest conversation. about the things that you like that I'm not giving you and the things that I like that you're not giving me. Because I want to be satisfied just as you want to be
Oh,
satisfied.
you satisfied.
And for the truth, 5 minutes doesn't cut it.
Tell me.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Boy, y'all make my job so tough.
Y'all remember that 5 minutes.
Talk about
We are going to discuss Know Your Us.
know your us. So what's us?
Us, I believe, is what makes you a union. What makes you and your partner, you and your spouse, you and whoever your significant other may be, what makes you all a union.
So you plus me equals an us.
Yes.
So what if we're ill-matched?
If we are ill-matched, I still think that there can be an us. I think that you have to be comfortable within yourself and know yourself enough that even if there is an ill match, you're still okay with it. You're still okay with building this union with this person. Because I do feel that because I got married when I was 21, I am now 42. My husband and I, when we met, we were all about each other, but I think that over the time, we have become ill-matched.
So our us changes over the years?
I do think so.
So what happens when you outgrow your boo and the us no longer fits?
I don't necessarily think that you outgrow your boo to an extent, because I think that, for one, when you're with somebody that long, I don't think you can actually continue to sleep with a person and never feel anything for them. So you do have a connection with that person, but I don't think that you really ever outgrow.
Now you realize
to an extent.
Realize
You
it-
grow, but I don't think you really necessarily outgrow them when you have been in the marriage.
realize
for
that a guy, I can sleep with you and not be emotionally tied to you anymore.
Yes, I honestly believe that you can, but for me, if you sleeping with me,
I'm gonna make you believe I'm all about you. Because I don't want the benefits to stop.
but I know me enough to know that no matter wherever you, no matter where you lay your head, you're gonna always
Come
think
back
about
home.
me. Always.
I can think about you while I'm doing
Always.
other stuff. I can think about you, you know. I wonder what she's doing. Never mind, baby. Those things happen.
I mean, yes, those things do happen, but I am still secure enough in me to know that, first of all, I don't really necessarily need you. I don't need you, and I think that
Hold up. How can we be an us and you don't need me?
because I think for me and my husband, he provides stability, but I was raised to have stability for myself. So I am not with him for what he can provide for me. I am with him for the love.
And you need that love.
I do need that
So you
love.
need me.
No, because I still love me. I still love myself enough to walk away.
Can you love yourself enough to be without me?
Yes.
Then that means you don't love me.
No, that means I love you, but I love me more.
Well, isn't that the antithesis of a relationship? Because aren't we in this relationship for me to love you more, to prefer you over me, to want for you more than I want for myself?
Absolutely.
I think that you can want more for a person. You can want for a person. You can want for yourself, but I also believe that you can love from afar. I believe that you can still love a person from afar and still want good for them. So,
I'm just a guy. I don't know a whole lot, but wanting good for me from afar and loving me is two different things.
yes, it is, but I still feel that I don't necessarily have to want to be with you to want good for you.
No, but I don't care you want good for me. You're supposed to love me. I mean, you can't stand being without me. No matter what I do, you love me. Therefore, you want me with you. You got to love me more than you love yourself.
No. I'm going to love me first.
That's selfish.
That's not selfish.
Love is not selfish.
That is not selfish. That's because because I have, in order for me, if I can't love me, how am I going to love you? I need to love me enough to know what my standards are. And my standards are what I have been raised on, what I have been built on. So I have to love me first. Because if I don't love me first, then I'm gonna just allow you to do whatever you feel like you wanna do to me. And that is not going to happen. Because
Alright.
mama didn't raise no fool.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the conversation. Okay. Good job. All right, we're going to deal with the rule, know your role.
Okay.
Now, every guy knows there are 3 types of women that he is engaged with at any given time. Right?
Okay, and what is that?
Well, if you think of baseball paradigm, you consider the guy the team owner, team manager, right? So he has his star player, okay, and she is the star player. He's got his skill players; they're important to him, okay, but they're not the star player. And he's got a bunch of folks that are bench warmers. Those are folks that he can call at any time. They just happen to be in the game. Okay. So, what role should you play in a guy's life?
Well, of course, I'm the star player. That's like wifey.
No, star player is the wife. Wifey is a bench woman because she's giving up wife privileges without the wifely commitment.
Right, and that's your star player. The wife,
No,
right?
the wife and wifey are 2 different things, aren't they? Wifey's somebody I ain't married, but she's giving me all the wifely benefits.
Okay.
She's cooking, she's doing my laundry, she's shopping for me, she's hooking the brother up. And what does she get in return? She gets to spend my money, do some other stuff.
Right.
But she didn't get the benefits of the diamond.
So your question to me is what?
What role? Hey, do you think that if you've dated more than 3 guys, you've been each one of these roles at some juncture in your life?
Of course. I mean, you're the star. Well, first you start off as, I guess, you say a bench warmer. I guess. That's what I'm going to say. Because you don't know who he's talking to at first. You don't know if he's talking to another chick on the side. You don't know if he's married or whatever. You don't know that offhand. You're just going off what he says. Then as you engage in a relationship, you get to know him, and then you become, I guess, the star player. Knowing, his assets, knowing that, okay, he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a side chick, he doesn't have this.
Can you ever truly know he ain't got a side chick?
I think, of course. You fall in love, you get to know a person. Over years at a time, you guys are in a relationship, y'all get to love each other, y'all going on vacations, taking trips, and doing this and doing that. You know the ins and outs of your man. So, of course, you're going to know if he has a side chick or not, if you're paying attention to your man.
So, but yet you tell me you've been a side chick without knowing it.
Of course.
So how if you know your man,
Right.
how can you be a side chick and not know it?
I'm saying, like, when you start out in a relationship and you get to know the person, like I said, well, in my relationship, I'm just giving you my experience.
Okay.
I was in a relationship with this person, and we was together for about 6 months. Okay, you know how females do. We go through the phone and we look and know who that calling. Keisha, it is 12 o'clock at night. So you suspect, okay, he messing around. You go through the phone, you see the text messages.
Hold on. You go through the
Oh,
phone?
yeah. And y'all men do it too. Stop it. Because y'all
hold
looking
up,
over,
hold
y'all peeking. Oh, Tim calling. It's 12:30.
No,
He
no,
called
see,
3 times today.
We're smart enough to put some type of program on your phone so it sends me an email about what you have.
That's too
But you going through my
much.
stuff,
That's
that's
too
the wrong
much.
answer.
That's too much.
And if I gotta go through your stuff, you a bench warmer. I don't care what you are. I gotta go through your stuff.
Wifey will go through your phone. Your
If-
wife will go through your
If
phone
she goes
as well.
through my stuff, she's a bench warmer. Because if to be a star player, you got to trust me, whether I deserve it or not.
Of
You got to
course.
trust me.
Right.
And if you're going through my phone, you a bench warmer.
I can't go with that. You could be married for 5 years and y'all fall off, but y'all still married. Y'all going through your difficulties. All of a sudden, she notices your phone still ringing at 1 o'clock in the morning. Why is your phone ringing? But you're married now.
But just because I'm married don't mean she's my star player.
Oh, stop it.
Because some guys marry their skill player Because, guys don't get married because we love you.
Okay, so
We
what's
get,
the reason?
we get married so no one else gets access to the cookie jar.
Oh.
Right.
I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true. Some men maybe, yes. But majority of the men that's gonna get down and take time to pick out that ring and get down on one knee and ask, baby, will you marry me? And y'all done had 5 kids already? Oh yeah, he loves you.
No, he's just taking you off the market. There's a beer called Private Stock, and that's exactly what he's trying to secure.
Really? You think so? I don't think so.
Hey, thanks for
All
having the
right,
conversation.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Get that?
Yeah, I'm good. Getting over there to help you.
I ain't fast enough. I ain't fast enough.
Look, I had to kind of go out there. I'm okay.
The rule we're going to deal with right now is how to keep it hot. To porn or not to porn? That is the question.
Okay.
All right, so look, we're in this relationship, and I'm all into you, but I got this porn thing going on. So, what is your response as a woman to a guy who's addicted to pornography and involved with you?
First of all, I don't believe in pornography. I don't agree with it. I don't watch it. And so the person who I'm involved with, if he is watching porn, then we can't be together.
Well, I want you to join me. It shows all kinds of stuff we can do together.
That's why we have each other. We experiment together. We figure things out.
How am I going to learn if I don't have any models?
I grew up in the church, and that's just not something that I was ever discussed that I would be comfortable with. So I don't agree with porn.
But we can take our own pictures. We can take our own film just with us.
Not at all. We can talk about things that we want to do together. We can experiment. That's the whole point of growing in a relationship is figuring out what we like based on us trying things out together.
So we're not going to get into porn. How are we going to keep it hot?
We can keep it hot by experimenting.
We've been together 30 years. Ain't that much experimenting left.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but still, there may be fantasies, that have never been acted upon. And so again, because of the communication, you find out, well, this is something I would like to try. But in terms of pornography itself, no.
You'd be okay if I say, hey, we're gonna go over to we're gonna go to Spades, and you're gonna go sit down in Spades somewhere, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna try to pick you up.
Okay, role play, okay?
You can deal with that.
Okay, yeah, I can
Okay,
do role
and we can film it.
The
The encounters.
okay.
Okay, and I have the camera fall like this little GoPro thing coming on, and as we're doing all this, and we get back to wherever I'm taking you, I can leave the GoPro on, and we can kind of go out and do our relationship business.
Well, see, that has nothing to do with porn. That's something that's a fantasy that you, I, or we have. It's not pornography.
Okay, so what if I want being a polyamory? I having like 2, 3, 4 women at the same time. You're already in love with me, so you can't leave me.
Really? I'm not that one. It's you and I. That's it. You experiment with other women, 3 or 4, no. But I think I would like to think that I would know this before we even got together, so that I don't waste my time, because I don't want my man being shared with several other women.
So we've been in a relationship for 10, 15, 20 years already.
But do I know this? Do I know that this has been going on? That this is something
It,
that you like?
it hasn't been going on. I just now want to do. We've been at the thing 20
The
years.
answer is no.
So you want to deny me, your man, your love of your life, your soul. You're going to
That's why
deny
you
me
have
your pleasure.
me.
But if you can't satisfy everything that I need, why can't
Well,
I
if
not?
that's the case, then you need to move on and let me be.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's
You
right.
satisfy most of what I want, just not everything.
That's
You
not
wanna deprive me?
communication. You're not going to satisfy everything in a relationship.
So you want to deprive me of being
It's not about
fulfilled.
depriving. It's not about depriving. This is what it is. I believe in just you and me. And if it can't be that way, then you can bounce.
So after all the time we've invested
I
into
don't
each
care.
other,
Did you hear what I said?
so now that I'm bored with you,
If you're bored, then you know what? There is freedom of choice. You can can choose to leave.
I don't want to leave. I love that
Well, if
you.
you love me, then you'll stay, and we will figure out things together. But
No.
2, 3, 4 women, no. I'm not her. Pornography, no. And I'm not a plain date at all.
Please, girl.
Great. Thank you for the conversation. All right, so here's a disclaimer. Some of this is just for conversation.
Yeah.
Don't nobody take it
Like
around.
5 minutes?
Looks like you don't know how to connect with love.
So, as you grow up and you begin to experiment with love and relationships, do you find that being in relationship, did it make you whole? I hear a lot of women talking about, it makes me whole. What are you
No,
saying?
it didn't make me whole because I had a lot of trust issues because of what my dad did to my mom. So again, it didn't make me whole because I didn't even know who I was. So once I I started dating. I had my first boyfriend when I was 18 years old. And again, I dated him for 6 months and he cheated on me. And
Hold up. Y'all ain't married. How can he cheat on you?
I said, oh, what?
You're 18 years old. You're dating. How can he be
wait
cheating?
a
Y'all ain't
minute.
married. Y'all ain't covenant.
That's right.
Let me explain something to you. Well, I can't explain it to you. I'm just going to tell you from my perspective, from the Paula B perspective. When you ask me to be your girl, you're asking me for myself. So I'm saying yes to you because you're telling me that you want to be my boyfriend and you're asking me to be your girlfriend. You didn't say I want you to be my girlfriend, but I got Shirley up in the wings that I want
So,
her to be my girlfriend
did you
too.
even have the conversation? Because, as guys, if we don't have the conversation, it don't count. So, if you assume you're the only one for me,
Y'all
I'm
are cracking
okay
me.
with that.
Right, you are cracking me up. They have so many rules. They don't even tell me. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this is how I am. Let me know what type of sandbox you want to play in. If you want to
I
play,
just want to play in your sandbox.
No. I just want you to let me know if. Don't make the choice for me. This is where I've always had my problem. I don't like it when men make choices for women. You don't have the right to make that choice for me. Now, if you want to play in this sandbox and you want to have a lot of other people in your sandbox, and if I say that's cool, I'm good with it because I'm definitely gonna have some people in my sandbox. We can roll like that. Because you have to decide what type of pimp game you want. You
All right,
understand
so
what I mean?
here's the game. Here's what it is.
Okay.
All right. Because you're relational,
Yeah.
I'm responsible to make you feel like you're the only one. Whether you are or not. When you're with me, you need to feel like you are the one. Right?
Right.
But there is no situation, circumstance, or condition ever where you can be with anybody else other than me while you're with me.
Whose rule is that?
Oh, that's the man rule.
Where's
That's
the
the
book?
man rule.
Yeah.
It's called the rules.
But that, let me say this. I had a friend that said to me, it's so, as long as he's doing what he's doing, but I can never, ever be with a woman that cheats on me. Now you're doing everything that you want to do. You laying down with this girl, but oh my goodness gracious, if a woman cheats on her man, that is the worst thing in the world.
Absolutely. You know
She's
why?
a slut. She's a
But you know
hoe.
why?
She's this.
You know why?
Well, what was told to me was that the guy goes in
Absolutely.
and the woman just puts out. So they don't want anybody going into their woman.
So,
Well, I don't want anybody going into my man. And
but she ain't going into me.
well, she is because I don't know what you guys are doing.
Well,
Y'all could be doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Whatever we
Okay,
doing,
let me
whatever
break
we
it-
do, she ain't going into me now.
But let me just break it down to you. It's hard for a woman to know that her man has been with somebody else, and then when he goes to lay down with her, in her mind she's thinking, what has he done with this woman, or what has this woman done to my man? Has she gone down? Am I being too raw? Has she gone down on him? You see what I'm saying? And I'm going down on him. Has he? You understand what I'm saying?
That ain't your business.
Oh, that is my business. That is
Because
my business.
it's an external. For guys, it's an external expression. For a woman, it's an internal expression. But that's
No,
conversation,
that's- oh,
conversation
yeah,
for another
yeah,
time.
that's another
Thank you
time,
for having
yeah.
the conversation.
Sorry. Hope I didn't do too much.
No, you got ready. You got give me the Sandman hook.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, that was, one
Get ready
passing
to
the
throw
Lord
one of
and
the
saying,
apples over there. Good job, good job. Well, that's the end of our auditions for today. We are planning to have another first round of auditions this coming week.
You still, you're right. So I don't